Hello there. Welcome back. Smallville Retrospective. I'm Scotty. You're not. We're looking at the episode entitled Cyborg. Back Cyborg. No. This is about the DC character Cyborg. Victor Stone. You know, the character that was shoehorned into the Justice League. I know he had been in variation to the Justice League. He was in the Super Friends cartoon back in the 80s version. And he had been in the comics, he was. But I don't know. I've always seen him as Teen Titans, Booyah. That's right. I've always seen him part of Teen Titans. But he's here, played by Lee Thompson Young, a rest in peace, who I know is the famous Jet Jackson. So I was excited when I saw he was in this. I'm like, really? And he's great. Of course, they go the route of he's a cyborg underneath the skin. That's an android, not a cyborg. A cyborg is when you have the robotic stuff on top of the body. I know that they said it technically the Terminator is a cyborg. Not really. It's an android because that's what it looks like when Clark does his. I know I do this a lot because that's the Superman thing. But when he does his X-ray vision, you see it's all robotic inside. I think it's supposed to be cybernetic, like it's cyborg thing in there, but I don't know. It's not very good CGI either. But yes, we start with Lana driving in Metropolis. So a doctor named Dr. Hong rescues Victor Stone from a lab, and as he's escaping, Lana hits him, and he comes out unscathed. So, yeah. And so he takes Lana to the hospital. She's a little hurt. She got some owies. And he's basically on the run, but he ends up, Lana takes him to Clark after takes him to Clark. He's like, we need to help him. Well, first of all, she's like, Clark, I hit someone head on. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. He's like, no, he survived. And then he recognized him. He's like, hey, aren't you a Victor Stone? Clark Kent. You're from you. I'm Clark Kent. I went to Smallville Growth. He's like, Kent. Yeah, you had a good arm. Yeah, well, I don't do that anymore. Yeah, we haven't really seen any college scenes since this. And in the last episode, in Vengeance, I forgot to mention that he dropped out for the rest of the semester. Spoiler alert: he never goes back to college because with Professor Fine no longer really a part of the plot right now. There was no need to do that. And so the college thing didn't really work. We're being honest. No. So Clark goes to Lex because they find out that this cybernetic place was bought by LuthorCorp. And Lex plays it off in a way that's like, okay, maybe he's being genuine. But like, as soon as Clark goes to talk to him, these people show up at Clark's loft and start shooting. He gets shot, and oil, black goop from his process or whatever it is starts to leak out, and he's going to die. We know that's not going to happen because it's a comic book character. He's gonna, So, then Clark comes back, and she's like, "Where's Victor?" Because he figured out what's going on, who's behind it, and then they found that Dr. Hong is dead, because Dr. Hong, we gotta find him, he's dead. Clark shows up, he's dead, because of course, there's this Dr. Krieg, who is the villain, and it's Mackenzie Gray, who would appear again in a later episode in season 10, first episode of season 10, as a clone of somebody, I won't say. But he was also in Man of Steel, in Grave Encounters, and he's been in a lot of things. He's a Canadian actor, he's been in a lot of things. I thought he was in Supernatural, but I didn't see anything from him. Supernatural. I swear he was in it. I don't know. But he's also Papa Bear from So Weird. He's in a couple episodes there, so yeah. Papa Bear. But yeah, he's the villain in this episode, and he shows up at. Victor decides, "Oh, I'm gonna die, but I go see my girlfriend who thinks I'm dead." So he shows up, but the doctor's there. Of course, it's a trap. And then they do this thing where they knock him out, and Lex Luthor walks out of the shadows. He came here like a horse to water. The hard ones for the hard ones. And so, like, Lex is full-on villain at this point. Like, it's ambiguous at first, where it's like, does he really not know? But it's very obvious that it's not just like, oh, Clark told him that. Because I'm like, oh, was it that Clark told him and then he decided, oh, I'm going to embrace this? No. The way he's acting, he knew about this. He knew what was going on. So, yeah, it's not like the old days of Lex Luthor where something would happen and he'd show up and then take over. You know. But, well, you misunderstand me. I'm going to see this project through. You know, that sort of situation. Lex does have a point when he says it could be about saving people, limbs, stuff like that, you know. But I don't know. I don't understand what the evil part of this is. You can make your soldiers, but like they do bring it up because he's like, "Oh, I'm going to give you this serum and it's going to help you." He's going to make him a drone, so they follow his orders and didn't remember anything. But Clark's able to save the day, and I thought it was going to go the route of he's going to show up. There's going to be some kind of meteor rock thing. No, and they don't go the route of making him with meteor because that's Metallo. That's not Cyborg. He's made of cybernetic stuff. So, yeah. There's a subplot. It's a meh subplot. It's something I brought up in an earlier episode, the episode where Clark saves Lana from the warehouse. It's come back. Martha, what do I always forget her name? Martha is being blackmailed by somebody. So she goes to pay the ransom. Lionel shows up and scares the guy away. And then he goes to deal with it, so he says. Turns out he was behind the whole thing. He pays the guy off. At least realistically, there's no dialogue. It just, towards the end of the episode, it cuts to a shot of him handing the guy money. And I always thought before that it was like, oh, he said, hey, you give me what it is that you have on him, and I'll pay you off, and you leave that. But according to Wikipedia, Lionel was behind the whole thing. I'm sticking with my idea. I'm sticking with my thought because why would Lionel orchestrate this whole thing as a blackmailing thing just to end up paying the guy off and have... I don't know. The only thing it seems to do is to get him in Martha's good graces, which I guess it works. I guess if that's what he's going for. It just never made sense to me that he was behind the whole thing. I've never seen that he's behind the whole thing. Wikipedia says that's what it is, but I never saw that. I saw it as he found the guy and said, hey, you give me the footage that you have and I'll give you the money. You leave Martha Kent alone. So that's what I always saw it as. I don't know. Maybe he did orchestrate it. Just doesn't make any sense for him to orchestrate it, though. Yeah. Let me get a scene before this, though, where Victor is reunited with his girlfriend, and they hug it out. And I know there's that whole talk about, it's supposed to parallel Clark and Lana. Like, oh, maybe if you had told her your secret, it would, she'd accept it. Okay, writers. Okay. That's what they're trying to say. Like, oh, if she knew his secret. But he told her his secret, and you, in your episode, said that was a bad thing to do. In Reckoning, your writing says that was the wrong thing to do. And now you're putting guilt on your main character for not telling her the secret. But he did, and you said it was the wrong thing to do. Make up your damn minds, people. Was it the right thing to do or not? Because you can't have it both ways. This made me scratch my head. I'm like, wait. They're trying to make him feel guilty for not telling her his secret. But the writers made it perfectly clear that it was supposed to be the wrong thing. That telling her is what led to all the problems of the episode, even though obviously it wasn't, because hello, she still got in the accident anyway, in the car accident anyway, but was saved. And like I said in the last review, we just went back 10 minutes. But here they're trying to make like, oh, he should have told her. But that's not what the writing in that episode said. It said that was the thing he did wrong. Even though the rest of the stuff in the episode went against that. So the writers are all crisscross and backwards, and I don't get the writing. I don't get the writing here. Doesn't matter, because the relationship is ending this episode anyway. If it's the one that I remember, Hypnotic, that's the next one. If that's the one I think it is, then yeah, it's ending this episode. The whole subplot with Martha and Lionel is not really needed. It's just there to fill time. And I'm really starting to get annoyed. How long ago was it that Lex and Clark had it out? Lex said, the days of you marching in here are over. Clark says, I'm done with you. Yet he keeps going back to the mansion every time something happens. I know it's because it's connected to Lex Luthor. Sure. But come on. There's always a question of, what about Lex's security? If Lex really did say the times you barge in here are over, shouldn't there be security to like, and if he's strong-arming them, shouldn't there be like knocked out security guards? Lex like, what do I hire you for? Like, I don't know. And again, I mentioned this in another, there's no cameras there? He's got no surveillance of his own? Come on now. I'm just saying. Okay, I'm just saying. Itch. But yeah. Just talk about Lee Thompson Young. I heard what happened to him. It wasn't like 2018 and it happened, but it's like, he was pretty young. He was around my age now. 30, 35 or so. So, he wasn't 40 yet, I don't think. He was on a show called Zorley and Isles, TNT show, and it was an unaliving. Yeah. You don't know what's under the surface. And I think that works with this, being that he's Cyborg. You never know what's under the surface with someone. They could seem perfectly fine, but you never know. So it's always important to talk to someone about things like that. And that kind of speaks to the last episode too, mental health and all that. So kind of back-to-back thing when it comes to, that I guess they never thought about that back then. But now, when you think of Lee Thompson Young and the mental health and the state he was in, kind of goes hand in hand, those episodes. Even though that episode before completely washed away and has nothing to do with the main plot to this season. It's just filler. So, next episode is probably mostly filler, although there is a connection to something. There is. The whole Hypnotic plot is filler. Just a big break them up. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this episode? And what comes below? Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Oh, I should just say, I thought this episode was okay. It was better than the last one. That's for sure. Actually, I'll just say this is probably one of the good ones. It's fine. They could have done more with Cyborg, and I understand the limits of having him mostly skin on the outside. To me, that makes you an android, not a cyborg. Who am I to judge? Budget constraints, of course, won't let him look like that, and it's also easier for the character to get around looking normal. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.